So far this deer season, we've seen a ton of deer, but they've all been either too far away to shoot or a little bit too small for me where I wanted to pass them. But all that changes in this video, and I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different hunts that I've went on, and I'm just going to be showing you all the highlights from those hunts. On day 1, we headed out to one of our best spots, which is a tower, and it's right over a big food plot. As you can see, it's a really good food plot. So we got up in the stand, and we saw a lot of different deer. Most of them were like does, and we saw a pretty big 8-pointer off in the distance, but I'm not going to bore you guys with just a ton of does off in the distance. But then this happened. Did you see it, or should I look? It's got to go out to the right of that pine tree. I see it. It's to the right. Why is this so blurry? Wait. Right next to you. It's a shooting. Safety up. Safety's off. Can I shoot? Yeah. It felt good. It felt really good. What happened? I don't know. I was dead on. I was dead on. So the buck slowly walked off into the pines and he was gone. I was really disappointed and really confused about what happened because I thought I was aiming perfectly. But what we decided to do is review the footage and try to figure out what could have happened. So we gave the deer some time to sit just in case I may have got it and it was just bedded down and dying or something. And then we got out of the stand and we headed back and we put the clip on the TV and we looked and we figured out what happened. So here's the replay of the shot. You might not be able to see too much right there, kind of hard to see, but then when you slow it down, you can kind of see the arrow a little bit. Let's get a closer look. And there's the arrow, and it goes just under the deer's stomach. Like, it might have even grazed some of its chest. But a lot of stuff happened in a very short period of time here, so let me break this down and explain to you guys what was happening. So I had spotted a deer in the distance, and I was trying to figure out what it was through the binoculars, and then my dad told me that there was a big buck, like pretty much right underneath us. So we got the bow up and got situated. But before we could get the bow up, the deer was pretty alert, and he was kind of looking around towards us, so we had to be extra careful, and then it stopped right behind a big wood part between the windows, as you can see right there. That wood part was blocking my shot, and the deer was looking directly at us, so I couldn't move much. And then he started to move again, so that's when I moved, and I tried to get on him. As you can see, the limb of the bow was kind of too close to the wood for me to take a shot right there. So what I had to do is I had to lean completely out of my seat. I was kind of halfway in my seat, halfway out of my seat. A very uncomfortable position for a shot, because that's the only way I could have shot right there. And the deer was looking right at me. I knew I had to shoot, otherwise that thing would be gone. So that's when I let the arrow fly. And I was using my top pin, which is the 20-yard pin, because it just looked close. And I thought it was probably about 20 yards. And this is about where I aimed. So I was going kind of for like by the heart and the lungs. Top of the heart and the lungs is pretty much where I was going. And then after the shot, like you guys saw, it walked away and just really didn't act like much happened, which is really confusing. But the next day we went back to that spot and we used our rangefinder to figure out how far the shot was, and it was about 25 yards. And 25 yards is just an extra 5 yards from the 20-yard pin, so you wouldn't think it's too much, but I was kind of aiming a little bit low compared to where you should aim. It's still a really good shot if you hit right there. It's like the best spot you can possibly hit. But if it goes a little bit lower than that, you're kind of in trouble, and that's what happened here. So next time I'm going to aim more like up here. This is probably the best spot to aim, because if you're off in a direction a little bit, then you're still probably going to get it. But we also shot the bow later and figured out that the bow is shooting about a 1/2 inch low, which really isn't that much, but that adds on to the little bit that it dropped. And like I said earlier, I was not in a very comfortable position to take a shot, but when it's a giant buck, and it was the biggest buck of my life, and he was staring right at me, really alert, really jumpy, I had to take that shot right there or he would have ran off. But this was really disappointing because, well, number one, it's always disappointing when you don't get something, but number two, I've never missed a deer before. Gotten 6 deer in my life and haven't missed one until number 7, and it's a really big buck. If I would have got it, it would have been the biggest buck of my life. So it's pretty disappointing, but I learned a lot of things from this. I learned that you should always check your range before you take a shot, because if you get the wrong pin like I did, then it can really mess you up. And you should also aim about right here instead of about right here. And really, it's only an inch or two of a difference, but it can make a big difference, because if I was aiming right there, probably would have clipped the bottom of the heart or something like that. And if you aim this way and you miss just by a little bit, like you're a little bit off, then you still should get the deer. But I'm sharing this with you guys so you guys can learn from my mistakes and try not to make the same mistake. All of us hunters are gonna make mistakes. Every hunter that hunts for a while is gonna miss, but it's important to learn from our mistakes so we don't make them again. But on day 2, we suited back up and headed back out. On day number 3, we headed out to a new location and we watched the packers while we waited for a deer to come in. And here's some of the highlights of what we saw. It is. Are you sure? No, I don't see any antlers. Huge antlers, buddy. Just put the binoculars down. Let's get the ball. Maybe we see different ones. I see a nuppy buck. There's one rubbing a tree. Oh no, then I see a different one. It's right in there, rubbing a tree. Just get close. Let's go. that's going to be it for this video, and make sure to come back next week because I'm going to be going deer hunting again, and we still don't have any meat in the freezer from deer yet this year, so that's kind of a problem, so we got to fix that problem. And I'm probably not going to be quite as picky because we just need to eat. I'm not going a year without venison, so I might be a little less picky next week, so we should get one down. So make sure to come back next week for that. But anyways, you can check out the videos on your screen if you want to see some deer that I've shot in the past, but thanks for watching.